Michael.
Gary.
Jim.
In the history of the United States, there have been 5 instances in which a presidential candidate has won the election, but not the popular vote. According to HITC News, these were John Quincy Adams, Rutherford B. Hayes, Benjamin Harrison, George W. Bush, and recently Donald J. Trump. You may be asking, why should a president be elected if not by the popular vote? How does this system even work? The United States is unique in that the founders established a very intricate and thought-out system by which a president should be elected. This system is called the Electoral College. Over the past decade or so, this system has become very controversial. Some believe that it has no benefits, others think that it's unfair, and some think that we should even change the Constitution to change this system. In the next few minutes, we will look at how this system works, what benefits it does have, and why exactly the founders implemented it in the first place. It is my goal that we reach an understanding of the values of this system and how it positively affects our elections. Popular vote elections sound ideal, but only in a perfect world. The issue we face is this: certain parts of the United States are far more heavily populated than others. This is particularly true for certain coastal cities. For example, the U.S. Census Bureau states that only about 126,000 people live in Topeka, Kansas. However, nearly 8 million people live in the San Francisco Bay Area, according to the Bay Area Census. Because of this, a popular vote election would, in most cases, completely ignore the rural population and focus solely on the more heavily populated coastal cities. This makes sense because, of course, a presidential candidate would rather campaign in a heavily populated New York than a scarcely populated Centerburg, Ohio. A candidate would do whatever it takes to get them the most votes. Luckily, the Founding Fathers foresaw this issue. They did not want elections to solely be won by the concentrated cities, but the president should be reflective of every citizen, from the small-town farmer to the big city CEO. No one's voice should be ignored. Therefore, they set up a system by which everyone should have a voice. According to the House of Representatives History Archives, the system assigns a certain number of electors to each state based on the state's population in order to maintain a fair ratio. The people of each state vote to determine which candidate the state will offer their electors to. A president must obtain 270 of the electors in order to win the election. The system can be confusing, but explained in the most basic terms, it gives a voice back to those who would otherwise be voiceless. The purpose of this is to encourage presidential candidates to distribute their attention fairly between every region, regardless of population. It requires that a candidate be focused on each individual state, because in this system, every state matters, and any state can make or break a candidate's chances at the presidency. To conclude, sometimes the system will result in a president being elected by the minority. However, it gives every citizen fair ground. The election should always be the United States' most powerful display of diversity, which is only made possible through the Electoral College. Every person deserves a voice, regardless of where they live, what their job is, or how many people live around them. The Electoral College accomplishes this portrayal of diversity by giving a voice back to every individual. I hope this discussion has brought some enlightenment and helped you see the Electoral College in a new light. Of course, this election system only works to the fullest extent if every eligible citizen does their part and votes. I urge you all to support our Electoral College system and make your voice heard by participating in the 2020 election.